Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we're going to be starting off with all of the news that we've had come out in the past pretty much just few hours. Now, before I start, make sure you subscribe with the bell notification turned on because I'm going to be covering all these reports regarding the merger as soon as I can because already we have a lot. The first one comes from James Larson himself. James Larson has reported that apparently today, November 30th, we will be hearing the official announcement during a meeting that is pretty much for the season ticket holders of the Brahmas. So that is the first big thing, but the other one is pretty tragic. In that same report, and from everything we've heard since then, only 8 teams are going to be in this merged league. That's right, only 8 will survive. Not 12, not even 10, just 8. Now, in terms of the 8 teams, from every report these we've heard, and note, this is not official, these are from pretty much every report we've heard. First of all, the new league will be called the UFL. It will be probably the United Football League, is what it will be called. That's the name. As for the teams, it's the teams we pretty much expected to hear: the Stallions, Showboats, and Panthers from the USFL, then the Renegades, Brahmas, and Defenders, Battlehawks from the XFL. Now, what's the 8th team? Well, we don't know which Houston team. It will be Houston, is what we're hearing. We don't know if it's the Roughnecks or the Gamblers. Some reports are saying now that it's going to be 5 XFL, 3 USFL teams, meaning it's the Roughnecks. But for pretty much the entire news cycle we heard before this in the rumor mill, it will be the Gamblers. We don't know for sure. Now, the only caveat to this, which is naturally terrible, only 8 teams, is that reports are also saying that in 2025 we will have 2 expansion teams. Now, they're calling them expansion, but what they are going to be is clearly 2 teams that got cut this year will be coming back. I would assume the Breakers are probably going to be one of them because they have their stadium that might come in to play next year. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's another USFL team. That's if it is 5-3 for the XFL, USFL in this year. Now, speaking of the year and the dates, March 30th is the reported kickoff for this new league, with February 17th being the beginning of training camp and training camp rosters being 90 players. Those are what we're hearing currently. March 30th means that they're going to be going with a couple weeks earlier the USFL schedule, which I think is a really smart move. I'm one of the guys who think the USFL schedule is better. Even though you have to deal with the NHL and NBA playoffs, you don't have to deal with March Madness, and you get a couple months off after the NFL. Now, the big thing about this is that they're doing it March 30th, which is 2 weeks earlier than the USFL season normally is, which makes sense because if they are planning to add 2 teams as soon as next year, and you're able to add games to the schedule, it's not going to actually affect the end date adding 2 more weeks if you do that next year, 2025. But for this 2024 season, March 30th is the reported kickoff date. Now, the only other thing we know so far is that the top guy is going to be the XFL CEO, Russ Brandon, guy who has had a lot of experience with the Bills and a couple other teams. I'm not really against this, especially because other reports suggest that Moose is going to still be the president of football operations. It's just that Russ is going to be a bit higher than him. I think this is solid. You have the 2 most experienced and pretty much deserving guys to have a higher up role, having higher up roles. So I'm not really against that. So that's pretty much what we've heard so far. A bunch of reports are probably going to come out today, so I probably will have another video or 2 out today. Again, this has been Zombox. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified as soon as I upload anything. I'm planning to upload a bunch of shorts potentially about this merger. I've already had a couple community posts talking about some of the things I'm telling you now. So be on the lookout for everything. Have a great night.